are the worked out solutions for day 65's warm-ups. So let's take a look at the first one here. And look at it, and we're multiplying two fractions. So when we multiply, we look for cross-canceling. So first thing I'm going to do is look at the numbers diagonal from one another. 3 and 11, I don't see any common factors there, but I do see I could divide the 8 and the 10 by 2. When I do that, the 8 becomes a 4, the 10 becomes a 5. Now I multiply straight across, and I'm left with 3 times 5 makes 15. And 4 times 11, well, that gives me 44. And that's reduced. No common factors there, so I've got my answer. Looking at the next one, it's a division problem. So with division, same sort of thing as multiplication, but we got to change it to multiplication first. So what we do is we multiply by the reciprocal. We take the reciprocal of the second fraction, the divisor. And basically all we're doing is turning that fraction upside down. Then we'll look for some cross-canceling. So I see that the 4 and the 16 can both be divided by 4. And the 9 and the 3 can both be divided by 3. And so once I do that, I can multiply straight across. So I've got 1 times 4 gives me 4. 1 times 3, that gives me 3. And then I can change that to a mixed number. So 3 goes into 4 one time. So again, as I'm doing that, I see that goes in there one time with 1 left over. So the 1 goes up in the numerator, and the divisor is the denominator. So that's why it's 1 1/3. With adding and subtracting, we need to come up with a common denominator. So I'm going to take the 8 and break it down to 2 times 4, 6 down to 2 times 3, and see what this will do for me is it'll show me what I need to multiply the other denominator by. For instance, the 6 only has a 2 and a 3, where the 8 has a 2 and a 4. So the 8 has this extra 4 that we need to multiply by the 6, so it has that same factor. Where the 8 does not have this 3, so we need to multiply these 5/8 by 3 over 3. So we go ahead and do that work, and now we've got new equivalent fractions. 15/24 is what we get for the first one. Here we have 4/24. So I did that by just multiplying straight across. Add up those numbers, 19/24 is what I get. Over here I see 9 and 3. Well, I could just multiply the 3 by 3 over 3, and that'll give me a 9 in the denominator. So I'll do that, and I'll bring down my 5/9, the plus sign. Multiply straight across here. 2 times 3 gives me 6. 3 times 3 gives me 9. So I'm ready to add. 5 and 6 give me 11. So 11/9. 9 goes into 11 one time with 2 left over this time. So 1 2/9 is our answer. Next one's a subtraction problem, but done the same way as addition, except instead of adding the numerators, we subtract. So I look at the two factors of 10 and 8, and we got 2 and 5, and 8 has 2 and 4. 4 can be broken down, but since 5 and 4 don't have a common factor, that's what I'm going to end up multiplying but the other by. So the 10 does not have the 4, so that's what I'll multiply by. The 8 is missing that 5. So now we go ahead and multiply across. And I've got 28/40, and I'm taking away 15/40. So I do that subtraction, leaves me with 13/40. Well, in the test we're also going to have a couple word problems, so let's take a look at these. It says Al sells 23 CDs. This was important. He makes a total of $297.85. Find out how much each CD sold for. So what we want to find out is the dollar per CD. This is what we want to find. And so we're going to take the number of dollars that we have. So we've got $297.85. And we're going to divide it. That's what the fraction bar means. We're dividing it by 23 CDs. So basically we're finding a unit rate. So I'll set up my division problem, and we'll bring the decimal point straight up into the quotient and start doing the division. So I see that 23 does not go into 2, but does go into 29 one time, so the first number goes right above the 9. So you've always got to really be careful and line up these numbers when we're doing division. 23 goes into 67, we have 2 times, and that makes a 46. So we do the subtraction, we got 21 left over. So we bring down this 8, and now 23 into 218. Let's go with 9 times. 9 times 3 makes 27. 2 and 9 make 18. Then carry the 2, we get 20. Do the subtraction, we're left with 11. Bring down the 5, and 23 goes into 115 5 times. Now, the way I figured that out, cover up the 3 here, cover up the 5. 2 goes into 11 5 times. So probably going to be a 5. And it does end up working out. It makes 115. And we end up with our answer. So the answer is $12.95 per CD. And that's the unit rate. That's how much each sold for, if they all sold for the same, which we're assuming in that problem. And number 7, it says Ted bought rulers for $1.25 per ruler. He has 32 students. If Ted bought one for each student, how much did Ted spend on rulers? So basically, this is how we're setting it up. $1.25 per ruler. And we're going to multiply it by 32 rulers, because there's 32 students, but he's buying one per student, one for each student. So we're buying 32 rulers. And the rulers will cancel. We multiply across, and let's see what we get. 32 times 1.25. So we go ahead and start doing that multiplication. First part we get 10, carry a 1. This makes 4 and 1 make 5. And then 2 and 1 make 2. Add a 0 and move on to the next number. 3 and 5 make 15. And carry a 1. So 3 and 2 make 6, plus 1 makes 7. And then 3 and 1 make 3. So we add this stuff up, we get 0. This makes 10, so carry a 1. That makes another 10, carry another 1, and we get a 4. Well, remember to move the decimal 2 spaces over, because the decimal point is 2 spaces from the left with that first number there, and it would be 40. So $40 is the amount we're going to end up spending on rulers. Well, those are the problems you'll see on today's warm-ups.